Dear friends, welcome again. One has to criticize the book as well as the textbook. First of all, we have to define the textbook. What is textbook? It is nothing but a printed and bound artifact which contains facts and idea around certain subjects. There are so many components of the textbook, but the two are main, that is the outer part and the inner part. The outer one has three components. Those are the cover pages, the binding and the price. The inner one has four components: the linguistics, thematic illustrations, pedagogical elements, and organizational thinking. The usefulness to the teacher, which have to consider the various benefits for the teacher. There are the lessons and units must be written on the basis of language items. The content of the lesson must be adequate to give enough practice to language items. There should be a gradual increase in the difficulty level of the vocabulary used in lessons. Lessons must have two-tier system in arrangement, that is, introduction of new language item and useful content for the practice of the item. The content used for the expansion of the language item must be so interesting that students may enjoy while reading it. The content of the lesson must be related to the child's experience and his environment. The exercises set at the end should reinforce the sentence pattern and language items learnt. The students should get chance to have self-diagnosis of their achievement level while solving those exercises. The exercises should be of different types. Pictures, diagrams, charts must be used to explain the content, and they should be given at proper places. The pictures must be attractive, clear, and adequate. The size of the book must be appropriate. The paper should be durable and long lasting. The cover should be sturdy and the binding should also be long lasting. The printing of the textbook should be clear and accurate. The types should be proper, bold, and attractive. The price should be affordable. The textbook is useful to the teacher in many ways. The teaching is made purposeful with the help of textbook. It is an important device for developing a reading skill also. The students get the practical experience with the help of the textbook. The vocabulary is gradually developed through. The students are motivated to learn. It is useful for strengthening language items. Why one should study the textbook? The reasons behind are linguistic items in each lesson, patterns and structures must be understood. The new vocabulary must be generated. The proper sequence in presentation of linguistic items must have to be known. The understanding of the various illustrations must be considered. The assignment should be informed well in advance for the new applications. The teacher has to find out the function of the language item while analyzing the textbook. Therefore, the teacher can create meaningful learning situations using pictures and drawings. Books are written for the purpose of illustrated work or blank sheet consisting of pages fastened together along one side and bound in covers. On the other hand, textbook is a book used as standard work for the study of particular subject. While using book, one have different purposes: entertainment, knowledge, education, etc. But textbook have a purely academic purpose. There is also the relationship between syllabus and the textbook. The nature of relationship between syllabus and textbook is just like the relationship between the human skeleton and living human body. The skeleton is hung in the showcase in the science laboratory, or its model is there. Looking at the skeleton, nobody calls it a man. In order to transform it into man, the bony part is to be covered with flesh and skin. Putting various systems in the body and making them work by blowing soul into it, it will be turned into a living being. The skeleton is syllabus and the textbook is a living man. The textbook writer has to transform the skeleton into living, interesting and meaningful language lesson. The lessons in the textbook are structured based. The vocabulary to be used while writing the lesson is also controlled vocabulary. The textbook writer has to transform the units of language items into a lesson within the framework prepared of the syllabus and under the constraints of controlled vocabulary. So the role of textbook writer and that of creative writer are different. The creative writer has full freedom, whereas the textbook writer has limited freedom. The freedom of the textbook writer is limited by the syllabus. The syllabus provides a framework, and within that framework, the textbook writer has to infuse events and situations and develop it into a lesson with the help of controlled vocabulary. Similarly, at the time of writing the prose lessons, the textbook writer has to pay attention to the structures covered in the previous lessons, revision of language items learned and their reinforcement. He has to do so because the syllabus is structure based. If the language items in the syllabus are arranged in such a way that they form a chain, language item learned will facilitate the learning of the next language item. The syllabus may be prepared accordingly. It will then be easy to learn the language item one by one, and at the same time there will be continuity in the learning of the language. If the language items are not arranged in chain, the learning of language becomes unsystematic. So the arrangement of the language items in the syllabus is very important because the textbooks are prepared on the basis of the arrangement. One has to find out how to study the textbook and the syllabus and how to trace out the relationship between them. Certain points can be given for textbook analysis. The first point is standard for which the syllabus is prescribed. The year of implementation should be clear. The objectives must be studied well in advance. Language items, those prescribed for that year, must be revised. The observations on their organizations, principle of gradation, simple to complex, whether proper learning situation can be created for their teaching. In case of items to be revised, standards and units and lessons they were introduced. What are the activities must be done or activated? Then the vocabulary must be tested and revised. This format is just for enlargement and modifying according to the needs. The textbook analysis must be related with the lessons, with the units and with the syllabus. In the process of teaching and learning, there are three important factors. They are learner, teacher, and curriculum. The curriculum is the accumulation of human values. Therefore, the main source of the content is the curriculum. The textbooks are written on the basis of the curriculum. The courses or syllabi are designed for the extension and expansion of the curriculum, and the curriculum is designed to fulfill the national objectives. In this way, the national objectives, curriculum, courses of the different subjects, textbooks based on courses have a close link. Unless a teacher has understood this link, he will not be able to perform the work of teaching. He must have to note certain new points, exercises, glossaries within his scrapbook. He must comprehend the relationship with the textbook. A teacher has understood the various links. He will not be able to perform the work of teaching and learning in an effective manner without understanding the characteristics of the good textbook. Thanks for watching and your support.